Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, it is I, the Skull King, Beast Mode 9000, back here on the Losers Lounge podcast. Well, kinda, because this podcast is being recorded on the 6th of August, which is a Thursday. I actually am working during the recording of this podcast, so I'm not actually able to be here as the podcast is happening. But, as Patrick from SpongeBob once said, we have technology! And I am recording this in a pre-tape on the 5th of August, on a Wednesday, right after Dynamite went off the air. I'm recording this at about 11 o'clock my time up here in parts unknown. So I wanted to at least be on the podcast in some semblance of ways and give my predictions for MLW Blood and Thunder. But before we get to that, we gotta do the Irregular Indie Roundup, and I needed to weigh in on that too. So, kicking things off, my shouts out is gonna be for Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. They got a few shows coming up. The first one on the 6th of August, actually, the day the podcast is being recorded. So, try and seek it out, and I'm sure the podcast is gonna be posted on maybe the 7th or the 8th of August even. By the time this podcast comes out, you're thinking you missed it, you can seek it out. I'm sure it's going to be somewhere. The 20 years of the Bad Boy, celebrating the 20-year career of the Bad Boy Joey Janela. And I'm seeing an announced match here, and that match is Janelasis, which is the team of Joey Janela and Megan Bayne teaming with Leo Rush. So it is a 6-person tag match. Janelasis and Leo Rush versus Busta and The Brain, and their tag partner for this match, Nick Wayne. So it is Janelasis and Leo Rush versus Busta and The Brain and Dwayne. Which, no, not Dwayne like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Wayne. The Brain and Dwayne. So then we also, in the festivities of that show, have Chris Statlander versus Marcus Mathers, which is going to be so fucking good. That intergender match is going to tear the goddamn house down. Nick Gage taking on Rhett Titus, which is going to be fucking gross, and I'm so here for it. Rhett Titus being more of a technical wrestler, Nick Gage just being a motherfucker that'll scalp you, which is so dope. Like, the combination and the clash of those styles is going to be so dope, so sick. Bear Bronson taking on Marco Stunt in a very classic David Goliath match. I think Bear Bronson's going to dump Marco Stunt on his goddamn head. And then Slade versus Crowbar. Yes, that Crowbar from, like, WCW from back in the day. He is wrestling Slade, which is also going to be a fucking bell-to-bell beat the shit out of each other clinic. 20 Years the Bad Boy is set to be a great show. Make sure to check it out on Thursday, August the 6th, which is the same day that the podcast is being recorded. But that is not the only show they have upcoming. Oh, no. They have Homecoming on the 15th and 16th of August, respectively, Night 1 and Night 2. Night 2 only has one match announced so far that I'm seeing. It's a circus death match between Lil Sicko and Nino Extremo, which should be a lot of fun, but Night 1 particularly has my eye, because I'm going to run it down. We have a singles match between Joey Janela and Marco Stunt. We have a chain match between Vipers and Christian Napier. And the GCW World Tag Team titles are on the line. Busta and The Brain taking on KJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse. But especially what has my eye is the Game Changer Wrestling World Championship match. That being the World Champion Atticus Cogar versus Joseph Sawyer. And if Joseph Sawyer sounds like a name that you have heard, you know him from WWE television because he was in the Wyatt Six. He is one of the greatest CZW wrestlers and deathmatch wrestlers of all time. He led the Schism. And that man is Joe Gacy. Joseph Sawyer, Joe Gacy, is back on the indies, and he is facing Atticus Cogar for the GCW World title. And I think that's going to probably steal the weekend of the 15th and 16th of August. If there's any other wrestling shows during that weekend, God help them, because I think that show, and especially that match, is going to steal the damn weekend. And I really think that Joe Gacy, Joseph Sawyer, might be the one to take the world title off Atticus Cogar. And speaking of world championships, well, we have another indie show that I wanted to shout out, that being Green Mountain Wrestling. 2 matches on their upcoming show. The Battle in Bradford. The tag match between the Swords of Damocles and the Ultimate Powers. They collide once again. The Swords of Damocles are by far one of my favorite tag teams on the indie scene. They are so fucking good. Huge shouts out to the Swords of Damocles. And, as I said, speaking about world titles, we have Brody Jackson, the hottest prospect and the hottest babyface in Green Mountain Wrestling and probably across the indie scene, one of the hottest babyfaces in the indie scene as a whole, taking on the hottest world champion, not only in Green Mountain Wrestling, but especially in the indies today, the Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros. No nickname needed. Brody Jackson versus the Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros, clashing in the Bradford Fairgrounds. And it's free with the admission to the Bradford Fair, so if you're going to the Bradford Fair on the 7th of August, make sure to go to this because, oh my god, this show is going to cook, and especially this match is going to slap. 6:30 p.m., August 7th at the Bradford Fairgrounds. Brody Jackson versus Mike Skyros for the Green Mountain Wrestling World Championship. The Green Mountain Championship on the line. Mike Skyros, the champion, defending against Brody Jackson. And if you want my opinion, as a huge Mike Skyros fan, I think Skyros is going to retain. But can Brody Jackson get the job done in his home state, in front of his home people? And can he capture the Green Mountain Championship and end the reign of one Mike Skyros? You will have to find out if you attend the show or find out when that match gets posted on Green Mountain Wrestling's socials. Now, without further ado, talking about MLW Blood and Thunder. Kicking things off, from what I'm seeing, Contra Unit's going to be there, and Joseph Samael has a grand proclamation. What that proclamation may be, I don't really know. I would like to think that maybe it would have something to do with bringing Mads Kruger back into Contra, and Mads Kruger would turn heel on the Contra Mercs, but I don't really know. I'm intrigued to see what Joseph Samael is going to do. Maybe they could bring in the Sinister Minister and have him be in Contra too, because that would be a lot of fun. Or maybe, just maybe, and maybe this is me thinking too far out of the box, but could you imagine if the Grand Proclamation has something to do with a new Contra member that is not a returning Contra member, somebody that is new to Contra? And I'm talking about Malachi Black. Aleister Black, who has been released from WWE. Could you imagine if Aleister Black came into Contra and MLW with Zelina Vega by his side? Absolutely, fuck yes, sign me the fuck up. Now for the matches, we have a heavyweight collision, a heavyweight match as Alan Angels takes on Joe Coffey. I love Alan Angels. I think Alan Angels is an incredibly underrated talent, and I think Joe Coffey is an incredibly underrated talent. I want these two to go at least 20 minutes, and my prediction is yes, because I think this match is going to fucking cook. I want to see them beat the brakes off of each other. Sign me the fuck up, inject it in my veins. Alan Angels versus Joe Coffey is going to be one to remember from this MLW show, Blood and Thunder. I think these two are incredibly talented between the ropes, and it's going to be fucking incredible. So just yes, sign me up for Joe Coffey versus Alan Angels. A women's division triple threat next as Shotzi Blackheart takes on Scarlett Bordeaux and Lady Frost. I have Lady Frost going over because Lady Frost just debuted in MLW, so I think Lady Frost is going to go over, probably getting the pin on Shotzi, which is fine. So I think Lady Frost is going to be the one to go over. However, Shotzi is, I still believe, the MLW Women's World Champion, so if Lady Frost were to pin Shotzi, she could get a shot at the MLW Women's World Championship down the line, which I think would be rad, and I think that one-on-one match would be dope. Maybe make it an Iron Woman match, because please, that would be awesome. I think MLW could make a really good Iron Woman match for the Women's World title. And the main event, the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, Killer Cross defending against Satoshi Kojima. Lariat, Kojima. I like you, Gabe. I thank you, but I gotta wrestle for my kid, my son. And I'm just going on and on and on, just saying the craziest things. And Gabe, I can hear his heartbeat, his arteries exploding. That is a reference to the CM Punk shoot interview that he did with Samoa Joe around the early 2000s, and where Punk did a Homicide impersonation, and Homicide crank called Gabe, but it wasn't really Homicide. And, it's not actually Homicide, this just CM Punk, I just fucking with you. And when Gabe gets really mad, he screams really, it's fucking awesome. It's fucking fantastic. Definitely check it out. It's awesome. Great shoot interview. And Satoshi Kojima is a fucking absolute goat, and as is Killer Cross, the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. I have Cross going over here for the MLW World title. I think he's going to retain against Kojima. I don't see Cross losing the world title just yet. I don't know who he could lose it to. I don't see him losing it to Kojima. I see them absolutely beating the shit out of each other, though. And also, yes, but my prediction is Cross. Sign me the fuck up, inject it in my veins. They're gonna beat the fucking shit out of each other. So those are my predictions for MLW Blood and Thunder, and my Irregular Indie Roundup shouts out. Huge shouts out again to Green Mountain Wrestling. Check out their show that is going to be at the Bradford Fairgrounds on August 7th, and is going to see Mike Skyroast, the Moonlight Sun, defending the Green Mountain Championship against no nickname needed, Brody Jackson. That show is going to be absolutely fantastic, and if you can't make it out to the fairgrounds, that match will be posted on their YouTube page, so make sure to subscribe to them on YouTube as well. And huge shouts out to Game Changer Wrestling, because goddamn, they have some absolutely awesome shows coming up. 20 Years of the Bad Boy and GCW Homecoming. I hope you all enjoy all of the wonderful shows that are going to be happening very, very soon in the wonderful world of wrestling and the wonderful world of independent pro wrestling. Support your local indies, support Game Changer Wrestling, support Green Mountain Wrestling, and support MLW. And I hope you all enjoy MLW Blood and Thunder. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Take it away, my fellow losers.
Thank you, Beast, there, for that lovely introduction and your picks as ever. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Loose Lounge podcast here, wherever you're listening, whatever time you're listening. And, folks, it is that time of the something once again. As well, folks, it is once again time for an Irregular Indie Roundup. And you know what that means? That means that one of the biggest indie companies is holding a major show that we want to talk about. And of course, that show is MLW Blood and Thunder. Oh yeah, it is gonna be fan-flippin-tastic this weekend. I'll tell you, folks, we love talking about pro wrestling, but we love giving a spotlight to what we can in the world of professional wrestling. So let's just get things to it. And you know, I can't be doing this stuff alone, so we gotta introduce the crew. And first things first, of course, one of our longest tenured members of our crew, the Heels to Balors, HeelBalor!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, the Heelist of Balors is back. My button wasn't working for Discord, so when I reintroduce myself, running back Jey Uso style, I'm the Heelist of Balors. I don't sound that too much enthusiastic. It's, well, I am running on sleep. I am running on, like, God knows how long of sleep, and I am tired, and I didn't get anything done these past few days. I've been busy with the family and friends and all that stuff. But that's besides the fact it's great to be back on the podcast after talking the Summer Stuff Slams, which actually was a pretty fun show. It's actually a very eventful show, by the way. Now we're going to talk some indie stuff and MLW, all that good stuff. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, it is gonna be a lot of fun. And, well, funny thing is, I'm kind of running on fumes myself, because my sleep schedule ain't the greatest, but you know, I always try and make things work for all of you guys, because trust me, having to deal with time zones and that kind of thing, It ain't great, but it's all worth it. And I know this person, he knows that when it's time for some good wrestling, oh, it is always worth it. That, of course, being Leo the Phenom.
It is time we take a dip out of our usual comfort zones and we talk a little bit about indie wrestling. And no, we don't mean that Indy Navarro, the star from the movie Obsession, has a wrestling federation. It is just a way to shorten it called independent wrestling. Now, what do you say we get to it, my friends?
Oh, yes, we shall. And in fact, there's been a fair bit that has been going on in the wrestling world since the last time we've done this. Most notably in the indie space is that Progress actually has some new owners. Yeah, a while back the news was broken across the pond for Progress that they actually gained some new owners and some pretty awesome ones too. Those, of course, being Nikki Cross and Big Damo. Wow. Now that's gotta be crazy to think about there. Just the fact that they're now running one of the biggest wrestling companies in the UK. I mean, guys, who would have expected that in the Big 26?
Nobody. That's pretty cool for them, especially after Nikki got released about a month ago, I believe, a few months ago. Her getting back on the indie scene is incredible, and her co-running a company is incredible too. And congratulations to Big Damo as well, who also was working in MLW, I believe, as well. So that is incredible for both of them. Huge congrats. I don't dabble a lot in Progress, but I know that's where Will Ospreay came from, and a few other names came from. But yeah, man, that's cool. Big dub.
Oh, yeah, it is huge to say the least. And in fact, they've got some pretty big events coming up in the next few sort of weeks and months sort of thing. Because their next big show, the day after All In, is a show called Wrestling for Everything. And that show will be taking place at the Electric Ballroom in London. And that's going to be a really fun show. I mean, hey, if you're going to be in the UK for All In, you might as well pop down and check out some Progress. Like, it is definitely worth checking out them. In fact, they've got some huge events. In fact, they're actually planning a massive tour coming up very soon, known as the Odyssey Tour. And, well, there's definitely a lot of really interesting stuff on that tour. And, well, there's a fair few dates to keep in mind with that tour. That, of course, being September 4th and Edinburgh at the Corn Exchange. Yes, that is a real name of a venue in Scotland. Then on the 5th of September, they will be in Leeds at the O2 Academy. On the 6th, they will be in Manchester at the O2 Ritz. Yes, there's a lot of O2s. Then on the 12th, they will be in Bournemouth at the O2 Academy. And this tour will wrap up on the 13th of September in Birmingham at the O2 Academy. Definitely some good stuff there. And of course, they've got another huge show right as we hit the 27th of September at the Electric Ballroom in London, which fittingly enough is called When September Ends. If you get the reference, then you know ball. You definitely know ball. But yeah, Progress definitely got some fantastic stuff coming up. We are very excited to see what they have in store. Another major company that has major events coming up later this year. And, well, of course, I'm very excited to see how this goes. And in fact, this brings up to more of the general recommendation stuff that I like to do. Of course, that being, well, a company based here in Australia, that being WSW World Series Wrestling, one of the larger independent wrestling companies in Australia, and they've got some fan-flippantastic stuff. In fact, they've got a massive tour set to take place later this year from October 29th to November 2nd, known as Mega Mania. And in fact, the tour will actually start not in Australia, but in New Zealand, in Auckland. Then they will be going down to Brisbane, then to Adelaide, then to Melbourne, and then to Sydney. So that's going to be exciting. And you know what, just to say, you guys, the roster that they've announced so far for this set of shows, let me rattle some names off here for this tour. And just tell me what you think about some of these names, because you won't believe some of the names that have been announced for this tour. Let me rattle them off. And, well, pretty much just, you guys let me know how you feel about these names being a part of it. That's right. Andrade El Idolo.
How you know? That's dope, though.
Shayna Baszler.
Always great to see the Queen of Spades in professional wrestling. That's dope.
Sammy Guevara.
Yay.
Karrion Kross. Actually, Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. They use Karrion on the promo image, but still.
Legends.
Los Tranquilos de Japón.
Tranquilo. That's
Yep.
nice.
So that's Bushi, Ryusei, and Tetsuya Naito.
Ah, yes, Naito. Please respectfully retire. We love you, we appreciate you, but it's time to hang it up. But that's still cool. That's awesome.
At least he's coming down to my neck of the woods here, so that's pretty based.
Oh, for real.
Then we've got The Inspiration.
Oh, that's where they've been this entire time instead of competing on AEW.
Well, that is correct. We've got Brian Cage.
Trash.
Well, this is supposed to be one of his last sort of big tours, so. We've got Ash by Elegance, for some reason.
Trash.
Yeah, that's why I say for some reason. We've got Ricky Sosa.
He's cool from what I've seen. He's cool.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Oh, we've got a little bit of United Empire with Henare.
Aaron Henare. Nice.
Yeah, love seeing a bit of Henare. We've got Matt Riddle. Speaking of MLW.
Yawn.
Yeah, that is true. We've got Moose.
He alright.
And no joke, one of the names that I know that's a part of this, that's a big one. Buddy Matthews.
Hey, nice. That's what's up.
And in fact, on the image, they even show that I believe the Good Brothers are going to be involved as well.
Well, too sweet to that one. That's cool.
Yeah, so pretty stacked lineup for this set of shows coming up later in the year for WSW. So that definitely worth keeping an eye out for what WSW is up to, I would say. Like, definitely worth keeping an eye on them. But what if you want to watch some professional wrestling sooner than that? Oh, I've got a few recommendations for you guys to that. In fact, there's actually a major independent show happening in my state, here in Victoria, on the day of this episode's release, Saturday the 8th of August, which pretty much on the day of the episode's release. So if you are in the area of Mount Gambier, then you've got yourself some pretty awesome stuff, because a great independent company based here in Australia called MXW, they have got a big slate of events coming up soon. They've got the Mount Gambier Meltdown taking place on the day of this podcast release, so if you're in the area, definitely worth going to see it. We've got the Wheel of Torture 2 taking place on the 12th of September at Laura. Yes, there's a place in Victoria called Laura. I'm not kidding saying that. And in Mildura, there will be an event on the 25th of September called Play On, which seems to have a little bit of an Aussie rules football sort of theme to the branding that they're showing so far. But pretty much, if you're someone who is in those sort of areas who can attend these shows, I'd say it's definitely worth going to check them out, checking out some great independent companies that you guys might want to see. And in fact, there's actually another major independent company that's set to be holding some big stuff. Because a company called ACW, Australian Championship Wrestling, will be holding an event called ACW 001, which is pretty much like a dual event taping sort of thing. But both of these events that are a part of the one day, they're actually being filmed as a pilot for a potential TV show. So, I mean, hey, more wrestling on the telly. Doesn't that sound pretty good?
I mean, the more wrestling, the better. That's what I like. Regardless of any company, the more wrestling is awesome. Don't want to consume too much, obviously, but hey, that's why I love around here. That's what's up. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. And the fact it's an Australian company looking to get such a thing, that's what you like to see. And in fact, they're bringing in a major name for this show, and you won't believe who that is. Mustafa Ali.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's always great to see Ali. Yep.
Yeah, in fact, they're also bringing in some other big names. Most notably, the Hurt Syndicate.
We hurt people. Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be very exciting. In fact, I wanted to shout out this show in particular because I actually know some of the people involved on commentary for that show. In fact, a little bit of a shout out here to fellow podcasters, the pop culturists, who do a great PlayStation podcast called For the Players. One of their lead hosts, Ryan Betson, is actually a wrestling commentator and will be calling the action on this show. So, a little bit of a shout out there. Just gotta show some love to our fellow podcasters, wouldn't you say, guys? Gotta show some love.
Oh, always, always. Big shout out to the wrestling podcasters out there who do love doing what they do. Just like us in here in the lounge, we're just here to spread good stuff. Regardless of whether it is wrestling, good vibes stuff. That's what we're here for, and we're always going to glad to do what we do. And yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it is fantastic. Like it very much is. But there is one other company I want to bring up here before we get to business. And that company is actually a really cool Australian indie that actually has a wrestling school attached to it. That being Mayhem Pro. And they're attached with the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling based here in Victoria. So definitely worth checking them out. In fact, if you guys were watching SummerSlam and you saw that there was a live shot in the crowd of like the international watch party sort of thing, one of them was in Melbourne, Australia. And in fact, the Mayhem Pro guys, they actually helped put on that SummerSlam watch party in Melbourne alongside of a company called Fans Owned Australia. So, a little bit of indie wrestling kind of being shown off a little bit on a mainstream company like that. How cool is that? How rad is that?
Which is great because like a lot of unknown people out there are getting their eyes on this stuff, and it's great. Indie wrestling's kind of looked down upon, and that's, I guess, understandable. But yeah, show it some love, man. It's not as big as the big guys out here, but indie wrestling's incredible. Okay, Lou?
Not just that. Like, it's always good to keep an eye out for these shows because you never quite know, like, who the next major star in wrestling's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
For real.
especially with a company like Mayhem Pro who have a wrestling school attached to them as such, like you're seeing the future stars of the business right in front of you. And in fact, Mayhem Pro actually have a major event coming up on Saturday the 15th of August, Mayhem Mania 3. And it actually does have some pretty exciting stuff, including the Mayhem Heist ladder match, which that sounds pretty interesting. You've got Dusk taking on Jab. You've got Fox taking on Erica. And you've got, for the Mayhem Pro Internet Championship, you have Hendrix taking on Isaiah. So there's definitely some good stuff coming their way. And hey, maybe in the future, we might be seeing some of these guys out there across major wrestling companies across the world. So you never know, of course. You never know what you're going to get. But, of course, that's just in the Australian scene, of course. And we talked a little bit about the UK scene there. So I think it's time we take a deep dive into the US scene of things. Because I think it's about time we talk some MLW. Shall we, lads?
Let's do it.
Oh, yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. Because they have a pretty big show coming up this weekend. Blood and Thunder, which will be live on YouTube, BN Sports, and even New Japan World. So, no matter where you go, it is definitely going to be worth checking this show out. And well, there are 3 matches announced on the card, so there's definitely going to be some fun here. So I think we'll start things off with Alan Angels taking on Joe Coffey. Of course, Joe Coffey, a powerhouse of a competitor. I remember seeing him in WCPW as the Iron Man, if you guys remember that. And of course, Alan Angels, someone who's been around
I do.
in the professional wrestling world as such. So this should be quite an interesting one. So, HeelBalor, I'll start with you on this one. What do you make of Alan Angels versus Joe Coffey?
This should be a good one. What I've seen from MLW television, they're doing pretty decent work. Alan Angels, I remember him in the Dark Order. If anyone remembers the Dark Order in AEW and all that. I believe he got released twice. And now he's, of course, in AEW. He's doing pretty good for himself, which is great. Joe Coffey, he was a part of, goddamn, what was the stable called, Talor?
Gallus in WWE.
Gallus.
And
I got you, Gallus.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, but I believe he was a part of the Prestige in WCPW, but I can't remember for sure.
I got you. I'm sure, obviously, our fellow loser B would know that. But shout out to B. Of course, he's in the air, obviously. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun one. Honestly, maybe God, this could go either way. I'll bet Joe Coffey's gonna win. Alan Anderson's great at what he does, but I think I'll just go with that one. I say Mark. Is it Mark or Joe? Like I said, I'm
Joe
running sleep,
Coffey.
ladies and gentlemen. Joe. Okay, thank you. Joe Coffey will get the win. So that's how we'll go with that one.
Oh, hell yeah. You love to see it. And, Leo, what do you make of Alan Angels versus Joe Coffey?
I mean, I enjoy the work of both of them, but I'm more familiar with Joe Coffey, considering I've watched him from WCPW going on into NXT UK and then into just regular NXT. And even though he's not the biggest guy, like for a man his size, he is uh, more than meets the eye. For those who aren't too familiar with him, and then Alan Angels, I've seen enough of him. He's good. He's got room for greater things down the line. And I expect a good match because I've enjoyed what I've seen from MLW and how they present their wrestling. And in the end, like the heels of Alex just said, I expect Joe Coffey to get the thing.
Ooh, I like your thinking there. Yeah, honestly, I think this match is gonna be great. I mean, Alan Angels definitely has proven time and time again to be a great competitor. And of course, Joe Coffey. What can I even say that hasn't been said about the Iron Man? He is one hell of a competitor, and he's proven it time and time again. From his runs in WCW/Defiant, to his NXT UK stuff, to NXT in general. I mean, Gallus was a fantastic stable there, and he was a great part of it, alongside of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. So, I'm very excited to see how this match plays out, and to see how insanely brutal these guys are gonna go. I'm expecting a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of hard-hitting stuff. Who have I got winning? Well, honestly, I'm gonna go with Joe Coffey on this one. I think Coffey is probably the safe bet to go for, especially considering the fact that, shocker, even though I keep up with as much wrestling as I can, I do have my blank spots, and MLW is a little bit of a blank spot for me, but I know I'll be watching Blood and Thunder, 100%, folks. But honestly, I think with this match, it is going to be incredible, but gotta give it to Joe Coffey. I think it just makes a whole lot of sense to give him the big win. Oh man, you want to talk about big matches, though? This one should be very, very big, because it is a triple threat match as Lady Frost takes on Scarlett Bordeaux, takes on Shotzi Blackheart. Now, the MLW Women's Champion is in the match, but they're not defending the belt, which, that's very interesting of a direction there, but still, I mean, these are three competitors who have competed across all sorts of different companies around the world. And, well, now they're in this matchup here. And what will definitely be a chaotic match, but will absolutely be a fun match. Like, this is the kind of match where you probably just want to lie down, have a few drinks, and just enjoy it for the spectacle. Enjoy it for the madness, if you will. So, Leo, I'll start with you here. What do you make of this triple threat women's match?
Well, considering the title is not on the line, I can see an excuse for the champion not to take the victory. So for that, uh, the championship, whoever's like gonna get the victory here will definitely like get a future title shot. Uh, the champion is Shotzi, right?
Yep, I believe that is the case.
Yep. She definitely will not win here. So for that, I would say either Scarlet Bordeaux or Lady Frost will get the victory. That way, it will lead to a one-on-one match down the road for the women's championship. If I had to pick one of them, I will say uh, uh, just for the hell of it, like Lady Frost. Why not? I think Lady Frost versus Shotzi could be a good match down the line, just being one on one for the title.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that definitely sounds like an interesting case there for it. And, HeelBalor, what do you make of this non-title triple threat match?
This should be very fun. All three ladies are very incredible what they do. Big fan of Shotzi. So proud of her. She's doing great in MLW. Glad she's champ. She's been killing it. Scarlett's been doing great. Glad she's getting to wrestle at least. Thank God. Again, that's great. Of course, the valet of Cross, obviously, as well. So there's that. But Scarlett herself, wrestling-wise, been doing great. She's been just doing what she loves. That's awesome. Lady Frost, I've seen her about like 4 years ago. And what I saw, I was impressed. I've been following her a little bit since then, and so yeah, she's been doing very well. I believe she was I think this is her first time in this company, so good for her. Good for her. I am also gonna have her taking the win here and being a future challenger for Shotzi, and I think she could potentially be the one to beat Shotzi for the women's championship. So I think I'm going to go with Lady Frost in this one.
Ooh, interesting thinking there for sure. Yeah, this one, I'm definitely intrigued to see how it plays out between the three of these ladies. I mean, of course, Scarlett Bordeaux, she hasn't really been wrestling as much since, well, honestly, the last time she was really in the indies, because, like, in WWE, she never really got the chance to compete, even on NXT. Never really got the chance to compete as such, and, well, Scarlett was obviously doing some cool stuff, it just, she never really got that opportunity, which is a bit of a shame, because if you remember seeing Scarlett Bordeaux in TNA many years ago, you'll definitely remember how great she was as a competitor. Like, for sure. Lady Frost, of course, definitely a new addition to the MLW roster, but definitely gonna be interested to see how she plays off against the competitors. I'm intrigued to see how that goes for her. But, oh man, I love me some Shotzi Blackheart. I think Shotzi is honestly one of the most underrated female competitors in the wrestling world. Like, people don't really talk about Shotzi, and that's a fucking shame, because Shotzi's awesome. Like, I know for a lot of us who probably only really keep up with WWE and NXT, that we typically think of her as, oh, the Halloween Havoc chick. Yeah. But, seriously, if you've watched her stuff in NXT, then you know she is freaking credible. One of the best. And I'm just glad that she's just back at it doing some cool stuff. And honestly, I really hope Shotzi gets to be a part of the WSW Mega Mania shows, because, oh man, Shotzi would be fantastic to see compete live. Absolutely. Who have I got winning this one? That's a good question. I mean, there's definitely a good case with all of them. I mean, Shotzi very much, yeah. Obviously, with this match being non-title, I think they could get away with Shotzi winning the match and just being like, oh yeah, she won, like, that kind of thing, and that could probably lead to one of the other competitors getting mad, beatdown angle. You know how it goes in the world of professional wrestling. You could obviously give it to Scarlett Bordeaux. I mean, Scarlett definitely could do with an opportunity like this, and hey, a one-on-one between Scarlett and Shotzi would be a lot of fun, especially considering their dynamic in recent years. Like, absolutely. I mean, you could absolutely give it to Lady Frost and put some momentum on her heading into, like, a title run, potentially, if you want to. Oh, man, this is really hard to pick, but if I'm gonna pick one, I think I'm gonna go for Shotzi. I think they'll probably find a way to give Shotzi a challenger, absolutely, but I think giving Shotzi a win, just establishing her more as the champion, as being on top of the division, I think that does make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I don't know if that's the smartest thinking, but just, if I feel something makes sense, then I guess something does make some sense, I guess. I don't blame no.
Exactly.
Yeah. It just, that's how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. But we're already down to the last match we're talking here on the pod, and oh boy, I think we're probably going to have a fair bit to say about this match, because, well, these two competitors involved, oh, they are gonna cook. Because it is for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, as it is the champion Killer Cross taking on Satoshi Kojima. Oh yes, many bread. All about the lariats, all about the bread, all about the good stuff of Kojima. Seriously, I mean, Satoshi Kojima, not really a name a lot of the mainstream wrestling fans might be thinking about, but oh, he is underrated as hell. He is fantastic and has produced definitely some silly moments, but also produces some incredible matches. Now, as for Cross, He won the championship a few months back, actually, at the start of the year in the Battle Riot. And in fact, we actually watched the Battle Riot live, and that match was fucking wild. I mean, it had bloody Festus in it. Festus! What more do you even want, folks? But seriously, though, Cross has been a great champion, carrying the belt all over the world, and just being a great champion for the brand as MLW just really expands. I mean, they even just announced a partnership with Panini to do trading cards for the brand. So it's definitely up and up for MLW, and Killer Cross definitely is a great face for the brand. But, I mean, going up against Kojima, ooh, this could definitely be Cross's biggest challenge for sure. So, HeelBalor, I guess, what do you make of the World Heavyweight title match?
This is going to be really, 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 really fun. Kojima, lariat, 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 and some bread. This is going to be good. And Killer Cross is obviously great as well. World champ, been champ at least since January. The Battle Royale, I believe, was in January, I believe. So he's been champ since, like Tyler said, the beginning of the year. That's crazy. Cross isn't losing this match. This could be a showcase match, but it's going to be a challenging one, too, because Kojima ain't no spring chicken, obviously, but he can still go. And I think he's going to probably take Cross to his limit. But in the end, everyone has to pay the toll, and you're going to sleep. And yeah, so this is going to be a wild one. Cross is going to retain, but dang, this is going to be a good one. I am very excited, and I'm very proud of Cross. Sometimes, sometimes it's always usually broader on the other side, Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it is. But Cross is doing very well for himself in MLW. He's finally world champion. He's doing great. He's killing it, pun intended. And yeah, bigger things are coming. And Kojima definitely gets him as world champ again. I believe for the second time down the road. There's a little good, maybe a little farewell thing or something like that. But Cross is taking it. That's all I gotta say about this one. I am excited.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's definitely some good thinking there for sure. And, Leo, you're last up here to talk about this. What do you make of the World Heavyweight title match?
I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be a big, beefy boy, stiff fight. Stiffer than how you'd wake up from a fantasy dream. Giggity. But I expected to be a good, like, at least 20, 25 minutes of just hard hitting action from these two awesome wrestlers. I, I've grown to love Cross like, at first I was never like the biggest fan of him. It wasn't until right around 2021 I really started to get into him and become a fan. And as for Kojima, I love the lyrics he gives. That just good hearts hitting lyrics. For a guy who can hit hard, he's also very very charismatically funny, which I love. Uh, like I can understand why you would give it to him, but nah, like Cross is doing too good of a job as MLW World Champion. Why would you take it off him now? So yeah, Cross is taking the dub.
Oh, that is fantastic thinking there, Leo. Absolutely fan-flippantastic. Oh, man, this match is going to be fantastic. I mean, of course, we know everything about Kojima here. All about the lariats, all about the bread, all about the good stuff. And of course, Cross, fantastic champion for MLW. In fact, Cross has been winning belts all over the world. I mean, in fact, in WSW, he's actually their current top champion. So, very much, Cross has been winning gold all over the world and making a big name for himself.
He's the belt collector.
Oh, yeah, Cross just... He's making all these companies pay that toll, I suppose. But yeah, Cross has just been fantastic as champion. And considering all the stuff he's gone through over the past few years, yeah, it is well deserved for Cross, especially winning Battle Riot and just being a great champion. Oh man, who have I got winning, honestly? I'm gonna go with Cross. I think there is definitely some upside giving the belt to Kojima, absolutely, but I think if they can keep the belt on Cross for the rest of the year, I think it would be fantastic to do that. Especially if Cross can bring that MLW title over to WSW, maybe even defend it on a show. Ooh, I would. If Cross manages to defend the MLW World title at the Melbourne Mega Mania show, that would be sick. I would love that. I mean, I may or may not be going to that. I'm not 100% sure at this point, but still, if that happens, that would be fucking sick. But you know, I do see some shenanigans happening after the match, because, well, there's been some big talk on this show about some major news concerning, well, Contra. And, well, I gotta ask you guys clearly, do we think we're gonna see potentially a new member of Contra get introduced, maybe to confront Cross?
Yes. I do think we'll see something interesting in this, with maybe someone joining the stable.
I can see it happening. Also, El Contra.
Oh, yes. Hail Contra, indeed. But, yeah.
Hail Contra.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, yeah, I do have Cross winning, and I do see some Contra involvement after the match, potentially with a new member. Don't know who it could be, but I'd be very intrigued to see who they bring into Contra. Yes, indeed. Hail Contra. Man, folks, bit of a shorter episode than normal, but, I mean, considering the fact we've had some big episodes over the past few weeks, it's nice to have a shorter one from time to time, folks.
Considering the last couple have been like close to 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
have a
nice to have a.
Like,
Yeah, Lou.
I mean, it's just nice to have a little bit of a break from that, I suppose.
Yeah. Just get a little appetizer, sprinkle a little here and there for fans. You know.
Oh, yeah, indeed. So we definitely hope you guys enjoyed this one. Because, oh boy, there are some big shows coming up for the rest of this month, including, TNA Lockdown and, AEW's All In. And I think even WWE's got a major show coming up as well for this month.
They do.
It's Heat Wave.
Same day and I believe time is All In. So double the wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, again. Oh boy.
Oh,
like
yeah. So much wrestling, so little time. I mean, you just love to see it, and I love to see it too. Because, I mean, this is what we love, folks. This is absolutely what we love. Because, I mean,
For real.
this is what we love to do. This is what we love to talk about. And it just goes to show how incredible this whole great industry is. My God. Seriously, I'm just getting more and more excited every minute just thinking about all the stuff coming up. Heck, I even
I'm ready.
believe this month that we've got bloody Triple Mania. Or is
Yeah,
it
we do.
next month?
It's next month.
Oh, it's next month.
The 11th and 13th.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Yeah, night one is Friday, the 11th of September, and at the MGM Grand Arena, and then the thir- the 13th is, which is going to be a Sunday in Mexico City.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah, and there's even Worlds Collide coming up, so it's like, Folks,
Yeah.
you definitely don't want to miss all of our coverage of all of the big shows coming up. It is definitely gonna be good. But hey, who would like to do the outro this time?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right, and HeelBalor, take it away.
Well, it might be a shorter episode than usual, ladies and gentlemen, but you have been fed enough. But this is not the last you will see of us, of course. You'll see us at All In. You'll see us at TNA Lockdown. And you'll see us at NXT Heatwave. There's so much to come up with. So much shows coming up. So much shows coming up. I'm running on sleep, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, I'm the Heelest of Balors. That's Leo the Phenom. That is Beastman 9000. That is Tylor. And we are the losers. And this is our lounge. And we'll see you all on the next one. Take care. And, oh, by the way, stay hydrated out there because it is crazy hot. We love you. We appreciate you. Catch you on the next one. Too sweet. Peace out.